victims are in this unfortunate position of having to choose. Do I want to vote or do I want to be safe? And I don't think that somebody should have to choose between those two things.
The state today announces a new address confidentiality program to give stronger protections to victims of human trafficking and domestic violence. And this new effort, ironically, is announced just as there is a rallying cry to protect a Fairfield County mother who stands accused of felony homicide charges in the death of her husband during a violent domestic dispute. We begin with that case tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Colleen Marshall.
And I'm Cabot Ray. NBC4 was first to report at 5 o'clock today that Pickerington second grade school teacher Angela Luke will be paid while she is on mandatory suspension. She is accused of running over her husband Daniel on Sunday. Their 12-year-old daughter called 911 before Daniel was killed and told the dispatcher that he was hurting Angela. NBC4's Harrison Hove has been following the story closely. He's live in Pickerington tonight with more on today's new developments. Harrison?
Cabot, that is the big news tonight here. Pickerington School Superintendent Valerie Browning-Thompson reverses course here, agrees to pay Angela Luke, who is on a mandatory state-required suspension while she faces that reckless homicide charge stemming from a domestic dispute.
It's that particular law that says suspension requires that it be an unpaid type of leave.
That's what Pickerington Local School Superintendent Valerie Browning-Thompson told NBC4 this afternoon. She said she was not paying Angela Luke while on suspension based on the district's lawyer's recommendation, but she had not previously consulted the Ohio Department of Education. So I asked ODE for their interpretation of state law and was told in part, quote, state law does not require that she be put on unpaid leave, but it does require that she be suspended. The law does not mention whether the teacher could or should be paid. That is a district decision. Luke's fellow teachers and the teachers union agree.
We want her back here with her Pickerington school family. We know she needs that support now more than ever before.
After our NBC4 interview, I was told Pickerington Superintendent Valerie Browning-Thompson had changed her mind. A statement sent to NBC4 says in part, quote, the decision was based following a review of the 911 call, discussions with district legal counsel and the Ohio Department of Education, as well as consultation with the District Board of Education. Superintendent Browning-Thompson tells me that Luke will remain suspended, required by the state, until this reckless homicide charge is cleared up completely. Her next court appearance, Angela Luke's next court appearance, will be October 16th. I'm live tonight in Pickerington. Harrison Hove, NBC4.
Thank you, Harrison. Now back to that address confidentiality program announced today by Secretary of State John Husted, who says the state needs to do more to keep domestic violence victims and victims of human trafficking secure by shielding their private information.
The great thing about technology is that it's made it easy to find people. The bad thing about technology is that it's made it easy to find people.
Something as simple as registering to vote or buying a house, getting a license at the BMV can put a domestic violence victim at risk. All of that information is public record and available to everyone, including an angry ex-husband.
And I can honestly say I've been doing this work for over 30 years. I have never known a domestic violence victim to leave a situation without having experienced some stalking. Never.
Victims advocates say too often people believe a victim can end a pattern of violence by simply leaving. But that's when the perpetrator ramps up efforts to regain power and control.
No matter what you do, no matter what the victim does, whether she leaves, whether she moves again, whether she gets a protection order, whether she gets a divorce, whatever she does, that person will continue to stalk her, harass her, and sometimes that stalking and harassing can be very dangerous, even fatal.
Under the proposed law, victims could ask the state to shield their address. Even their mail would be redirected through the Secretary of State's office.
Applicants fill a notarized statement that they fear for their safety. They describe some of the circumstances. The reason that we're going through the Ohio Domestic Violence Organizations is that this does kind of serve as a filter system to make sure that people that shouldn't be part of this system don't get into it.
And here's a frightening statistic. The Center for Family Safety and Healing says the homicide rate for victims increases by 75% when the victim tries to get help. We invite you to join the conversation about domestic violence by visiting our NBC4 Facebook page and leaving us a comment there.